In this project, we worked differently from others since we worked with classmates from different classes. We will explain what is exponential function and its main characteristics and each of the graphs. We will also explain what happened on Chernobyl and how it relates with exponential function. A catastrophic nuclear accident occurred in April 26, 1986 at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant in the city of Pripyat. An explosion and fire released large quantities of radioactive particles into the atmosphere, which spread over the western USSR and Europe. It is one of only two classified as Level 7 event, the maximum classification on the International Nuclear Event Scale. The disaster began during a system test on the reactor number 4 of the Chernobyl plant. An unexpected power surge, and when an emergency shutdown was attempted, a much larger spike in power output occurred, which led to a reactor vessel rupture and series of steam explosions. This event exposed the graphite moderator of the reactor to air, causing it to ignite. The resulting fire sent a plume of highly radioactive fallout into the atmosphere. Over an extensive geographical area, including Pripyat, the plume drifted over large parts of the Western Soviet Union and Europe. According to the official post-Soviet data, about 60% of the fallout landed in Belarus. 31 people died, and long-term effects such as cancer are still being investigated. Exponential growth is a growth whose rate increases at the same time as the total number does. The function that represents it is fx equals bx. An exponential graph is one where there is a curved line that goes up as it goes further out. Its base, that is a, has to be above 1 and it has an horizontal asymptote. Real life examples.
Stand up like a soldier, baby. Yeah, I know you been like that. Gun it like a holster, baby. Show them say you're wicked like that. We live for the war.
Is a sustainable energy that generates heat, which is used to power things such as wind turbines, which then generates electricity. However, this produces harmful environmental radioactivity, not to mention the danger hazards that exist when working in a nuclear energy plant. It is considered clean energy, meaning it's emissions free, because compared to coal, it saves a lot of carbon dioxide emissions.
It's raging, chasing our crazy dreams, hoping that the bridge won't cave in. So now we'll let it all go free.
The Laguna Verde power plant is located in Alto Lucero, Veracruz. We think that being nearby this power plant is bad for people because of the radioactive waste, but we do agree in the nuclear energy plants because it is a good resource for energy, but not within populated areas.
So now we'll let it all go free. Give me the thing, I made me rockin' at the dance. Give me the thing, I made me rockin' at the dance. My shit don't like stepping at the dance. Give me the thing, I made me.
Have been easily prevented. Safety systems were deliberately turned off due to impatience amongst workers. However, once it happened, it was impossible to stop the radiation. No, it's impossible for the radiation to reach Mexico, let alone leave Europe. The incident released substantial amounts of radioactivity into the atmosphere. The radiation reached over 130,000 kilometers square. Animals that were affected by the radiation had mutated offsprings. This incident also made way to change in regards to safety in the workplace worldwide.
The consequences of the nuclear weapons or disasters are the greenhouse effects, the waste removal, and the destruction of forest life. The greenhouse effect gases go into the atmosphere and this contaminate the whole atmosphere. The radioactive waste that affects living species like us, the animals, trees.
Yeah. We think that nuclear power, as it is currently being used, will eventually kill the Earth. Plants and animals and life will die, and humans will all be sick due to radioactive waste. A solution to this problem is to find an alternative fuel that is good and will not harm the environment. Or at least studying nuclear energy and finding a way to make it risk and harm-free. Another solution is to create a law in favor of the disarmament of nuclear weapons, so that the creation of the use of them is banned. So in conclusion, we do believe it's a very good way of energy, but however, it needs to be safer.
We liked working in teams because it made the workload less for us individually and it made it easier for us to distribute it amongst each other. But it was very difficult since we were in different classrooms. We could not communicate to talk about what each of us had to do and how to do it to make it easier for the one putting the video together. We would have liked to work in teams, but with the people in our classrooms to make the whole project easier and more complete as a group.